Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, welcome back to our class. Yeah, today we will do computer program, chemical reaction engineering 2. Yeah, we will do chapter 6. Yeah, on introductions of biochemical reaction system. Yeah. Okay, in your book there will be chapter 7. In your formula book there will be chapter 7. So you have covered the whole book already. Yeah. You covered this book from chapter 1 until chapter 15. Yeah. So in the introductions of biochemical reaction engineering, you are going to learn on how to recognize the role of biochemical engineer, how to demonstrate and you should be able to demonstrate and understanding of the main characteristic of the biological process, and you should be able to do and understand the enzyme kinetics. Yeah. Biasanya in biochemical, they don't call catalyst as a catalyst. They call it as enzyme. Yeah. We have an enzyme. We are also a part of the biochemical. So we got enzyme in our mouth, in our stomach, and all these things are enzymes. So this enzyme will help to they behave like a catalyst. They does not change, but it help the others to change itself. So the learning outcome from this lecture, you should be able to demonstrate understanding the kinetics of the enzyme. When we say the kinetics, we are looking on the mechanism of the reaction. You should be able to explain the log and key and induced fit model of enzymatic action. You should be able as well to demonstrate an understanding of the mechanism of the reaction action and understanding the mechanism-Manton equation and ability to apply the mechanism-Manton equation to the analysis of the kinetic. So these 4 objectives should be covered by today. Yeah, right? Okay, on overview of biochemical, so this biochemical should relate on design, development, implementations, and operations of engineering process, where a lot of people were involved, especially chemical engineer, microbiologists, biochemistry, genetics, and also the people who involved in medical process. Yeah, so bioprocess operation make use of microbial, animals, and plant cell and components of cells such as enzymes. So it's just like macam chemical, we have a catalyst. Our catalyst is made from metal. So but for bio, because they involve with living things, they involve with animal, they involve with plant, so they got an enzyme to help they to do the reaction, especially when they want to degrade the food, especially, or other things as well. So they have to use an enzyme. So they call the catalyst as enzyme. So the enzyme is also it's like a protein, a group of protein. Kalau catalyst we made from metal, so this enzyme is made from a group of protein. So this is a bioprocess chemical. Just like our catalyst, usually we will say how many grams or how many moles of catalyst we can put in. But for or how many moles of feed that we can put in. But for biochemical, they have other unit where the unit would be a kilogram per meter cube. It's just like density. You don't have to worry on that. It's just because it's a biological, it's a living thing. You just look at around us, people around us. Some people are fat, some people are thin, some people are just nice and ideal BMF. So this is based on the the mass and the volume of the people. So that's why they use a kilogram per meter cube. Okay, all right. Okay, and then in order to scale up is quite difficult for bioprocess, is because you see yourself, you tak pergi jauh, analoginya is you. When you are kids, when you are children, you are small, your growth rate is increased. But when you are at your age now, there's no growth rate, but you are in optimum, the most productive, you are at the most productive situation for the time being, kan? Until when you reach at my age, you are no longer active. You're no longer active. Yeah, it's just like my time is dah stagnant. In another few years lagi, I dah mula start degraded. So in term of scale up, it is sebab berbeza-beza sebab dia ada fasa. Dia ada fasa-fasa dia. So it's quite difficult lah sebab kalau fasa tu bukannya semua orang mungkin dia ada generation gap macam tu tau. Ada generation gap juga. So susah lah nak buat scale up. Compared to our chemical tu kita senang sebab kita punya tu static je. Berapa mol, berapa tu metal kita pun semua sama je. Tapi mereka tak sama sebab dia punya enzyme is made from a group of protein. Dia bukan, kalau group of protein bukan satu group tu lima macam tu, 5 protein. No, it's not like that. Sebab dia akan beza-beza. Okay, the applications of the biochemical, they are mainly, the applications of biochemical mostly in chemical industry, especially when they want to produce ethanol, citric acid, acetate, butanol, or things that involve expensive, especially like medicine, drugs, tissue, engineering, gene therapy, food industry as well. You have to involve with the biochemical, especially when you want to produce cheese, yogurt, wine, sake, tempe also can be used. Tempe also bioprocess. But they use yeast as well. Yeast. Tapai, for our local tapai, tairu, apa lagi? Macam-macam lah. You can name it lah. Okay. For agriculture, we have plant breeding, to pest disease, bio-insecticide development, modifications of plant to improve nutritional and process characteristic. For veterinary practice, we want to produce vaccine, you got to fertility control and livestock breeding, especially in biochemical. The other applications of biochemical, we may be able to use in environment, especially when we want to have biological recovery of heavy metal, bioremediation, sewage, treatment, or maybe in water treatment as well. In water treatment, they have to use biological process where they have to put microbe in order to do the job. Okay, these are Alexander Fleming, the one that started the bioprocess engineering, where he produced penicillin. You can find penicillin in Panadol. So they studied and then they start to, I think this one you just read it, you just read yourself to produce in a large scale. Usually for bioprocess, they would do a semi-batch process, semi-batch reactor. It's not like our process. We have continuous process. But for biological chemical, they need to have a semi-batch process. Why I say a semi-batch process? They say this is your batch process. So they put the feed, reactant, feed, and then they put the enzyme or the microbe in. Okay, and then they have to supply food. They control the situation, and then they have to supply food because they got microbe here. So they need, in order to make the microbe convenient in the reactor and work well, so they have to provide. It's just like us lah, kan? Let's say you are the microbe, you are the one that help to produce tempeh, for example, in 1 kilang, kan? So I need to say, if you are stay there, just like our quarantine lah, if you stay there, you kena supply juga food kan. Kalau you tak supply food, nanti you orang mati, betul tak? So tak boleh dah production tu. So sama juga dengan ni, So they will have, selalu dia masuk semua, they control the temperature, everything, make it condition okay until retention time static, retention time, the specific retention time, they know what is the conversion. Their conversion is based on retention time. Once is there, then dia akan buka dah, then they harvest, macam tu, they harvest. Right, clear Okay, in order to have a good condition for the microbe to work, they need to have a good temperature, good pH. You need to give food, carbon source, water. Macam itulah, kena minum, makan semua. So kalau in order for us to survive. So the reactor slightly different, and the design also slightly different. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So enzyme catalyst. So when enzyme is a catalyst, but it's a living microorganism. Yeah. Okay. We look at the mechanism. Okay. If you don't have the uncatalyzed, if you do not have catalyst, or we said no enzyme. Yeah. If you no enzyme, then your substrate equals to your product. Your substrate is your feed. Substrate is your feed equals to your product. But if you got an enzyme, then your substrate need to bind with your enzyme, and then enzyme with your substrate change to E plus E dot P. Then E dot P turn to E plus P. Remember mechanism that we have learned before? Ingat tak? Kan? Ingat tak? Adsorption, surface reaction and desorption. Kan? Yeah. Yeah. So you got S plus E equals to E dot S. Ingat tak? And then surface reaction. E dot S turn to E dot P. And then E dot P turn to E plus P. Sama kan? Sama je. Okay? So this is how the process would be. Yeah. Okay. Sampai sini clear tak? You have to repeat, you have to say because I cannot see your chatting kat sana. Okay. So this is how okay, good. Okay. So this is how the reaction occur. So sama je macam yang kita belajar in chapter 1. Surface reaction tu kan. S plus E turn to ya Allah, ya ni salah ni. Ya. Saya padam dah. Okay, tak apalah. Ya, S plus E turn to E dot S. E dot S turn to E dot P turn to E plus P. So this is the mechanism. Dia mesti ada enzyme. Dulu biasa kita pakai catalyst kan, A dot S kita pastikan S tu is the active site, betul tak? Dia tak ada, dia pakai enzyme je terus. Why we have to use enzyme? Because the mechanism of the enzyme, dia ada dua cara, two ways. It's either by using lock and key. Satu lagi is by using induce feed. This induced feed, this one will occur in here. In here. How does it happen? Yeah. Okay, so we go back and so the function of the enzyme is still the same. It reduces the reaction activation energy so that the energy will occur very easily. Easy to occur sebab rendah aja kan. It's just like you kan sekarang ni siapa yang kat Sabah Sarawak kan susah kalau nak balik sini kan, kalau tak ada kapal terbang kan susah. Betul tak? So your flight is your enzyme. Too much easier for you to come back to Semenanjung. It same goes with us from Semenanjung to ni, yeah. Alright. Okay, sampai sini enzyme. Okay, this is induce and feed. And this is what I said, induce and feed. Okay, look at here. So this is lock and key model. This is induce feed model. Lock and key, this is your substrate or maybe, okay, whatever lah. Boleh mana-mana pun boleh. Okay, let's say this is your let's say this is your enzyme. This is your substrate. For lock and key, the shape of your enzyme and the shape of your substrate must be fit. Just macam kunci dengan mangga tu. Let's say you got a door. In order for you to open the door, you must have your key tu must got the same shape as the feet yang tu kan. So this one said lock and key. When they got this one, they turn to E dot S. Okay, this one is induced fit. So induced fit, that's what ni lock and key. So induced fit, induced fit is slightly different. Then you see, let's say this is your enzyme. So this is your substrate. So look, the enzyme shape and the substrate shape does not fit. Tak sama. Satu je yang sama ni. So when satu sama, what happened? So this one attach first, and then this whole tukar shape dia to adapt or to receive the second shape. Mesti salah satu tu sama. Induced fit tu mesti satu sama. So bila satu tu melekat, yang ni akan ubah. This one akan change its shape in order to accept the second shape. Bila dah macam ni, nanti dia akan berubah jadi macam ni lah. Bila satu tu dah masuk, nanti daripada tu dia akan jadi macam ni. And then bila masuk dulu, yang ni dah masuk dulu lah. Nanti dah masuk dulu. Dan baru yang ni boleh masuk. Macam tu. Yang ni masuk dulu. Dan yang second ni akan ubah shape untuk terima yang nombor 2. The first one dah masuk, baru second yang nombor 2. Faham So this is what we kept induced fit model. So ada two ways. So mechanism dia ada dua je. Mechanism ada dua. It's either lock and key or induced fit. Ada dua saja. Pilih salah satu saja. Okay. This is what happened lah. This is what happened. This is your enzyme. This is your substrate. So this is E dot S. Ini E, ini S. E dot S turn to kat sini jadi E dot P. E dot P turn to P plus E. Kat sini balik. Nampak tak? Dia cycle dia gitu. Dan dia ada cycle. Sama juga dengan catalyst. The same thing. The same thing. So bila dah kosong, then the other product boleh buka. So in order for the E dot S, ada dua. Sama ada secara lock and key ataupun induce fit. Sampai sini clear? Okay. Bila dah clear, what is the best way that we want to do? Yang lain tu balik baca. Is Michaelis Menten. We call this Michaelis Menten. Tengok ni. ds over dt is equal to rs. Betul tak? Because d is differentiation of s. Substrate concentration based on time. Misalnya selalunya kita kata, biasa kita kata mole per time selalunya kan. Kita RA, ingat tak RA? Ingat negatif RA tu kan? Kan dia ada macam ni kan? Betul tak? Kan kita ada selalunya kita ada, biasa kita buat negatif RA equals to KCA. Biasa kita macam tu, betul tak? Because this is chemical. Tapi kalau biochemical, they use Michaelis Menten. So Michaelis Menten dia punya tu will be ds over dt which is rs. A tu lah substrate dia kan. Equals to V max over S plus Km plus S. S is concentrations of the substrate. V max is the maximum rate of reaction and Km is Michaelis constant. Bila macam ni, you will get this kind of curve. This is called Michaelis Menten plot. This Michaelis Menten plot, you will have this kind of curve. When you have this kind of curve, but we want to know what is the V max and what is the Km. It's just like macam negative RA, kan? Kita ada K, betul tak? KCA. K is your specific reaction rate, where this is your constant. But for biochemical, in Michaelis Menten, we have two constant, which are Vmax and Km. In order to find the Vmax and Km, in order to find the Vmax and Km, you may plot like this. This is called Michaelis Menten plot. However, because you need to have what is the half Vmax here in order for you to find your Km. So it's very difficult for you to know which one is half because this one you don't know what is the exactly Vmax here. Okay, the problem is like that. Therefore, ya, kita pergi sebelakang balik ya. Therefore, the best way is instead of plotting a graph like that, we swap the numerator and denominator location. If we swap this one, what we have? We will have 1 over Rs equals to what? Equals to apa dia? K M over V max kan? 1 over S plus 1 over V max. Ya tak? Betul tak? Kalau you terbalikkan, bila you terbalikkan, you akan dapat apa? Bila you terbalikkan, you dapat Km plus S divided by V max plus V max S. Kan? V max S. So I simplify this one, change to that equation. When you have changed to that equation, then you will have a linear equation. This one will be like Y M X plus C. Nampak tak? So this would be your Y. 1 over Rs would be your Y. 1 over S would be your X. Your slope would be Km over V max. And your intercept will be 1 over V max. So you will get a straight line. You will get a straight line where this is your 1 over S. This is 1 over R S. And the slope would be your Km over V max. And your intercept here would be 1 over V max. Clear tak? Sampai sini okay Sampai sini okay This one very important This one very important. Sampai sini clear Clear, okay? Okay, alright. Okay. Put here, Okay, these are example. These are your question paper, 15, 16 semester 2. Sesi 15, 16 semester 2. Biasanya question ni question number 3 biasanya, Okay, look at this question. Okay, graph yang tadi tu bila kita plot, besarkan sikit Okay, tadi kan kita graph kita plot tadi tu. Kan tadi kan kita plot graph tadi tu kan, we got plot the graph. This one 1 over R S, this one R. This one 1 over S, you got the straight line. So this graph we call line Weaver-Burk, Okay, line Weaver-Burk plot. Okay. Because from the Maclaurin method, you inverse the Maclaurin method, then you plot the graph. So this graph we call line Weaver-Burk plot. So this one, so you have to plot 1 over Rs versus 1 over S. Let's say we got this question from 15-16 session semester 2. So it says here, beef catalyst have been used. Beef catalyst will be your enzyme. Has been used to accelerate the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide to yield water and oxygen. The initial concentration of hydrogen peroxide is 1. So this is your enzyme concentration. Your substrate. Your substrate concentration initial. And maintain at 30 degrees Celsius. So decomposition rate of hydrogen peroxide, they say give this one decomposition, and this is your hydrogen hydrogen peroxide concentration. Okay, when you got this kind of data, so the first thing, this is 17 marks sikit aja tapi 17 marks. Okay. Untungnya okay, from this kind of data, so which one that you need to consider as RS and which one need to consider as S? Which one? Masa tu RS, masa tu S. You need to choose appropriate, you need to choose the correct substance. Kalau tak nanti salah, graph you nanti terbalik nanti. Yeah. How to choose? Which one? Ya, saya kena tengok kat you punya ni. So siapa cakap tu? Okay, jadi
H2O2
yes, good. Yeah, okay. H2S tu Jenny and those yang reply tadi tu good. This one will be your substrate, this one will be your RS. Bila dah dapat macam ni, then you have to plot to set another data down here. Another data. This is will be 1 over RS. This will be 1 over S. And then you plot the graph dapat a graph, then you obtain what is your Vmax and what is your Km based on it slope. Susah senang. Soalan nombor 3 biasanya senang nak score. Jangan lupa buat benda ni. Sebab ni senang lah. Ini je macam ni, buat macam tu je, buat you buat graph je, you got 17 marks already. Okay. Now with your graph paper, what I want you to do, can you do this one? Satu lagi, make sure unit dia boleh cross each other. So ni tak ada masalah dengan unit, ya. So on a graph of paper, on a piece of graph of paper, I already told you kan bawa graph paper. Okay, bila bawa graph paper, I don't have graph paper, okay. Nanti kan katalah sini your graph paper, besar graph paper you kan. Kan ada tu. Katalah you tolong buat you punya axis, you punya axis X dengan Y tu masuk ke dalam sikit. At least 1 or 2 slot kat sini. Masuk ke dalam sikit. Bawah ni pun sama, naikkan ke atas sedikit. Jangan buat betul-betul penuh kita graph. Because the bigger you make the graph, the better, the precise your slope would be. However, nanti kalau you kecil sangat, if it is too small, it's very difficult for you because nanti you plot, you letak point tu nanti takut salah. That's another thing, Sebab sehari kita nak guna pembaris, kita nak buat slope tu, Saya minta you ada lebihkan sedikit sebab nanti kita nak tengok what happen dekat tepi sini nanti. What happen nanti. Okay? Oh, tapi yang ni senang sangat, Yang ni dia satu je, Dia satu je. Okay. Sebelum I tak nak you buat yang ni, this one nanti you balik boleh try, This one you boleh try. Sekejap, I nak bagi you another example, Yang ada dua, You boleh dapat ni dalam in the library, in the library. Ini susah sikit, saya cari yang ada dua senang sikit. Okay. Okay, nampak tak saya punya yang graf yang baru? Ada tak?
Ada, Doktor.
Yang on L-lactate. Tadi tu senang sangat. Itu senang sangat. Sebab nanti kita nak tengok terus buat yang kali kedua terus. Sekali arung je. So sekarang ni, sekarang ni I got another example. And then you got lactase dehydrogenase enzyme. This is your enzyme. And then the study was carried out using spectrophotometer and ozamic acid was used as inhibitor. Dia ada inhibitor. Masukkan je dulu, tak apa. Nanti saya ajar you apa itu inhibitor. So the experimental data is tabulated in table 1, So this is your ni. So dalam case ni, which one is your R, which one is your S? Which one is your R, which one is your S? So this one would be RS. Okay, this is your S. Okay, choose appropriately. Lepas tu sekarang ni, lepas tu you buat 1 over S, 1 over RS untuk setiap ni satu ni. Buat je dulu. So ada banyak data. Okay. Boleh tak? Lepas tu you plotkan dalam satu graph paper. All three data ni nanti plotkan dalam satu graph paper, okay? In one graph paper. Plot it properly and then you will see. Boleh tak? Kalau tu, boleh tak tolong ambil gambar ni sebab nanti saya nak ketepikan aja. Takut nanti you tak ni. Siapa yang tu tolong ambil gambar untuk salingkan data dia. Nanti I want you to draw on your graph paper now. Ambil data. Ini berapa ni? Sekejap Kita tak nampak. Dah ambil gambar Dah ya? Okay, dah ambil gambar. I want you to do on your graph paper. Buat ni. Saya akan buat dalam bentuk Excel lah supaya kalau saya buat graph paper nanti susah saya nak tunjukkan kat you. So I buat dalam Excel so much easier. Boleh Ya, okay. So kalau macam tu kita ni tolong buat tolong buat. Do it now. Nampak dah? Okay, nampak screen this is your question and this part is your question. Kan? This one is your Excel. Tadi tu kan? I buat dalam Excel. Sebab kalau I buat dalam graph ni tak apa nampak sangat. So you have to graph nanti tu. You snap the picture nanti ya. Right. So from there, and then first question tu, then you can get what is the Vmax and what is the Km. Dapat Vmax dengan dapat Km, and then you need to examine type inhibition. Saya punya ni mengganggu betul. Okay. Right. And dia dapat type of inhibition, dia dapat Vmax dengan Km, and then you need to understand the type of inhibition. So how to identify? In order to identify the type of inhibition here, you need to see the profile of the line. The profile of the line ni you can get from this slide. Nampak tak yang I got another, there will be 2 attachment in the notes kan? The second attachment dia ada inhibition constant Liebenberg Park tu. Nampak tak?
Nampak.
Okay, nampak question lagi. Okay. Nampak tak line Liebenberg Park ni? Kalau not inhibitor, you should get this straight line. You should get this straight line. Then you got your intercept as 1 over Vmax and your slope will be Km over Vmax. Where I is your concentration of your inhibitor. So sebenarnya ada inhibitor tak? Tak ada kan? Tak ada. Tapi when you got inhibitor, so inhibitor tu typically kita letak sama ada dia nak jadi dia nak slow down ke, nak control the process ke, so we have to put the inhibitor. So inhibitor, they can be kalau if your inhibitor line that cross dekat you punya Y, and then it is a competitive inhibitor. If it is cross at Y as X, then it is non-competitive inhibitor. If it is uncompetitive, means the slope will be the same. Macam ni lah. Macam inhibitor, no inhibitor with 20 millimolar oxamic acid, that will be uncompetitive. But this one will be competitive. Macam tu. So from the profile that you will know what type of inhibitor of it. So macam mana nak cari Km dengan Vmax? You guna ni lah. So your intercept will be 1 over Vmax, 1 plus I over Ki. Yang ni slope ni pun sama. So kalau macam intercept, let's say this is a parallel line, so the intercept will be yang ni kan. So you tahulah the one your intercept tu dengan ni, then your slope will be this one. Then you know what's your Km when you have inhibitor dengan non-inhibitor. So this one is actually I draw myself, I do it myself. So it's much easier for you to understand lah. Ni boleh bawa dalam exam minta stamp dekat library, minta stamp kat fakulti. Okay. So this one, okay. And now the problem is you don't know what is competitive, what is non-competitive, and what is uncompetitive. Okay. So in order to do that, let me share with you. Kita tunggu slide keluar. Nampak tak slide inhibition mechanism ni?
Nampak, Doktor.
Okay, nampak kan semua kan? So, tadi ada inhibition. Okay. Tadi ada inhibition kan? So, competitive, non-competitive, and uncompetitive. So, how the mechanism occur for each character of inhibition, So, the first one, if it's competitive, the substrate shape, ini enzyme, this is your enzyme. Let me highlight, Sorry. Okay, this is your enzyme, and this is your inhibitor. Now this is inhibitor, this is your substrate. So your substrate shape and your inhibitor shape, they got the same shape, so they can fit at the same point. So that is competitive because they need to compete at one point ni, inhibitor ni. Okay, so kalau dia punya mechanism, because your E can combine with your I and combine with your S at the same, because they fight together at the same time, they fight. So kalau biasanya inhibitor kalau competitive ni, kalau kita nak slowing down and then it's okay. Ataupun kita nak combine the reaction dia together and then it's okay. Okay, dan baru kita boleh dia competitive. Kalau non-competitive, so this is your substrate and this is your inhibitor. So your enzyme ni boleh dual function. Dia boleh react dengan substrate, dia boleh react juga dengan your inhibitor. Faham Okay, so this is non-competitive. So dia relate lah macam ni. Kalau uncompetitive, okay, let's say this is your enzyme. Actually, your enzyme only can work with your substrate. It cannot fit with your inhibitor. However, when your substrate fit with your enzyme, then your enzyme try to change the shape to adapt or to accept the inhibitor. Faham Dia macam induce fit. Ingat tak induce fit? Dia kan bila satu masuk, lepas tu dia adjust satu lagi untuk dapatkan satu lagi. So uncompetitive dia macam tu. Tapi dia yang substrate dia menolong enzim ni untuk dapatkan inhibitor ni. Faham? So that's a different thing. Competitive, non-competitive, and uncompetitive. Okay? So the next part is in terms of the profile. We can have the profile. Dalam tol, senang. Okay, see the profile. Nampak tak tadi tu? This profile, kalau dia competitive, this is yang Michaelis-Menten, Michaelis-Menten plot. And this one is Lineweaver plot. Kalau Michaelis-Menten, dia akan shape dia macam ni lah. Tapi kita susah sikit nak cari KM dia sebab kita tak tahu setengah tu kat mana. Tapi the best way is you need to use the Lineweaver For line Weber-Burg, if it is competitive, then the line of inhibitor and the line without the inhibitor, it will cross at y-axis. If it is non-competitive, then the line for inhibitor and the line for the non-inhibitor will cross at y-axis. X axis, yeah? If it is uncompetitive because they do not fight each other and they help, the substrate help the enzyme to accept the inhibitor, then they will have the same slope. Clear? Faham? So yang tadi tu, soalan tadi tu you ada dapat juga uncompetitive, you will have juga competitive. Kan? Tadi exercise itu very good, they cover all. Alright? Sampai sini okay benda ni penting So you can answer question yang part 2. Sorry. So you can answer A, B, and now in order to answer the part C, if the fit consists of ni, sekarang you tahu KM, you tahu what is your KM, and you tahu what is the Vmax. You plug in all this number into the equation. Equation dia apa? Negative RS equals to apa? Vmax ikut mekanisme maintain S over Km plus S. So fit in back all the equation back and then you can get the answer. Boleh Boleh. Kalau nak tahu yang soalan yang ni, you may go back to the slide. Look at slide problem ni like slide problem ni. Okay, this slide will teach you on how to apply the deformation using Maclaurin-Pentin equation. Okay, you may try and you may get this answer. Alright? So yang ni I leave it to do on your own, okay? Right? Ada masalah lagi tak?
Doktor.
So the next part after your enzyme inhibition yang ni,
saya nak tanya macam mana kita nak tahu equation untuk line inhibitor tu?
Kita kena draw the graph. Baru kita boleh identify sama ada dia competitive atau uncompetitive.
Okay, doktor.
Okay. So tapi soalan tu dia tak ada saya rasa dia tak ada KI dia. Rasa macam dia ada missing KI. Ada tak KI dia bagi? Dia tak bagi KI So KI you assume 1 je. KI assume 1 unit dia. Dia bagi concentration, dia bagi kan, I concentration dia bagi, Tapi KI dia lupa nak bagi. So KI unit dia ialah 1 je. Faham Okay. Tambah kat sini kalau tadi tak boleh nak cari yang bawah ni susah sikit. Nak cari yang part ni, nak cari yang Vmax sebab dia tak inhibition je, sebab tak ada masalah, tak dapat KI pun tak apa kan. Sebab dia kata examine the type inhibition. Dia bukan nak cari KM ke apa, so KI ni tak ada pun tak apa. Faham tak? Tapi kalau you nak cari Vmax dengan KM dekat part ni, you kena dapatkan KI. So tapi KI sini tak ada. So bila KI sini tak ada, you may use KI equals to 1. Dia tak perlu pun tak apa sebab dia tak cakap pun, dia tak minta pun, betul tak? Dia kata examine the type inhibition. Dia bukan nak cari Vmax atau ni, ya. Okay. Tapi kalau you nak kira juga Vmax ni, you may assume Ki equals to 1, ya. You may assume. Barulah you boleh dapatkan dia punya question. Right. So, sampai sini, okay and then kita sambung sikit lagi. Kemudian yang batch and plug fermenter ni, I think you can do on your own lah. You baca. You boleh baca sendiri. Yang ni yang rate law yang tadi tu saya kata your growth rate semua tu kan. Sebab dekat mana you nak ni. So your phase sekarang dekat sini, your phase, you punya phase sekarang, you dekat sini lah kan. You kat phase kat sini. Saya dah phase kat sini dah. Saya dah phase kat sini. Okay, so your phase kat sini. Right? So itulah sebab you kena tengok kat phase mana you nak kena set untuk you punya rate law. So dia ada banyak jenis. Ini yang monode. So kita tak ambil yang monode, kita ambil yang matrix maintain je sebab objektif pun nak matrix maintain saja. So I just concentrate on the things that you supposed to know. Alright? Okay, kalau tak ada kita end. Okay, any question from the class?